the far sideline. Knocked
Carlos,
out of bounds.
Carlos Gray, speaking of another Division I prospect style, was bouncing him out of bounds for Stevenson. There's some excellent football players on this field tonight. I know that everybody appreciates it, but this is a rare opportunity.
Gray's been tight end much of the year and had his troubles at the tight end spot. Some drop balls, and he had a good year last year on defense, so they're putting him in a position where he can be successful. 2nd and 7 now for the Eagles. And DiGiorgio with a quick pass over there and into the end zone and a touchdown over there for Eisenhower. And that was Thurman again.
Well, he broke a tackle after a short hitch route completion. Stevenson can't afford to miss tackles against the speed and the open style of offense Eisenhower has.
And just a simple little play, little curl to Thurman. As you said, the missed tackle. Grzywalski on for the extra point now to give Ike an 8-point lead, and he does. And so it's 14-6 with 10:56 left to go. And we'll take another look at the touchdown. See Thurman. Nice little move in there, and it's just a foot race.
No spin move back inside, and the DB coming up to make the play went by.
It's a deep one that goes back into the end zone, and it'll be a touchback for the Titans.
Automatic in high school, crosses the goal line, it's a touchback.
Which is a good weapon to have if you got a kicker that can consistently put it back there.
It's nice as a defensive coordinator to sit down and say, okay, now from their 20, here's what we're going to do. The crowd's filled in a little bit here. I would have been disappointed if Stevenson Eisenhower wouldn't have drawn a few people to our area tonight to watch.
It's still one of the best deals around any high school football game, let alone this one. Myuri drilled as he gets rid of it, and the receiver drilled as he tried to catch it. Zanjeski.
Yeah, Ryan hung in there, took a shot. What was that? It was a good pop. Was that Aaron Kaczynski, number 58?
I did not see. Another look at it here.
68. Sorry, I may have my 8s wrong. 68.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have 68 on the official Eisenhower roster.
The shovel pass to Geringer, who gets loose before he stood up over there by number 9, Tynan.
Well, that goes down in the passing statistics, the Utah pass.
One Brett Favre likes to do a lot at the professional level. It's a pickup of 13 for Stevenson.
Yeah, just looking at the Stevenson O-line right now, he's got 280, 290, 295. Seemed like there could be some movement up front.
Myuri back to pass again. He goes into his backfield. And that's Anthony Lalama getting his name called for the first time today. It's a short game, if any. Call it no gain, 2nd and 10. And Stevenson now at the 33-yard line, their own 33. Gonna get things going. Myuri off to the good start. 5 of his first 6 completed for, looks looks like 107 yards.
Well, it's a good controlled passing game. I don't know what the holdup is right here, but give me time to talk.
Give us a little more time, as I believe they're going to have to take a timeout. Looks like they're going to have a delay of game.
The clock is
Possibly.
stopped right now. That's ball's ready for play now, so some adjustment had to be made. So they're safe.
No timeout burn. 2nd and 10 from the 33. And Myeri rolls out and trying to evade the Eisenhower defenders, and he's pulled down. DeGiorgio and Crotty converging on the sack.
Got run down by the clearly probably the best football player on the field. And again, well, you know what? I'm going to give credit to certainly 57 Adam Carr too, senior guard in defensive end, 5'11", 190. But he did force my area to tuck the ball.
3rd and 20 for the Titans now. Definite passing situation. Myeri trying to avoid the Ike pressure again, and he breaks loose, and Crotty lays him out over there on the far sideline for a short gain, but not the distance needed to pick up the first. It's a gain of only 4 for Myeri, who did well enough just to avoid the rush on that one.
Well, you know, Anthony, one of the things that Stevenson has to avoid is taking losses on earlier plays. I mean, even if you get no gain for no yardage or take a 1-yard loss, something like that, you've got something you can do. You take these long losses, it's hard against a good defense.
And out to punt is Stevenson. Kenneth Wilson back to receive for Eisenhower. He fumbles the return and falls on it.
Kenneth Wilson had a little trouble settling the ball in, but he was on it in time.
And there wasn't a Titan bearing down on him, and might have looked down to see where the blow was about to come from.
Funny thing about eyes, you can't put one on the ball and one on the defender. They both have to be on one or the other.
And trying to see who that is. Number 8 for Stevenson. John Palmer is closing quick. So the Eagles avoid some trouble. 1st and 10 from their own 44. Pretty good field position for Eisenhower.
Their defense has to make a play for Stevenson. That's simply what has to happen.
Giorgio back to pass. And he throws, and just out of the reach of Hoover, who had a lot of real estate in front of him, if he had been able to come down with that one.
He's had a lot of real estate in front of him. He's again being uncovered. He's coming out of the backfield and out of the pro set. 2 backs are split. He's just running a little wheel route over on that side. He lays it up a little too tall that time.
Brings up a 2nd and 10 for the Eagles. 2 backs in the backfield. The give is to Hoover, and he breaks loose. 1st down and more for Chris Hoover as he gets his way into Stevenson territory.
Good blocking at the point of attack, but Chris Hoover accelerates so well, being a sprinter with some good size. But see here, there's little running lane there, and this is where then the acceleration of the running back is critical.
Just turns on the jets and almost turned the ankle at the end of that play as he his last step with the right foot, and it might be him walking over there on the sidelines, and I think it is.
Well, all I can say is thank goodness they're on natural turf. If that was an artificial turf, there would have been an ankle. He would have been out for about 3 weeks or done for the season. Since it's real natural grass, injury was avoided.
1st and 10 from the 42. A fumble, and Eisenhower covers up as DeGiorgio like a little trouble getting a snap from center. Either that or he lost it trying to go to the running back.
And Kelsey pounced in there and Yeah, the ball was just
squirted out there as he was going to hand off to the running back. Didn't see if one of the other backs accidentally hit his hand or something as
I couldn't
they were
really
going
tell.
by.
He may have just kind of lost the handle on it a little bit. It happens.
Hoover right back in the game for Eisenhower. 2nd and 15 for the Eagles. DeGiorgio back to pass and complete over here to Tynan, and Tynan's got what looks like a first down.
Well, to say it was uncovered would be like saying it's a beautiful night tonight, and it's kind of redundant. There is nobody in the vicinity. Corner was playing very deep. As you can see, when there's no other jersey in the picture, when you do the replay, that's pretty soft coverage.
And a lot of that is the Titans having to respect the speed of Eisenhower and give them a big cushion. Their ends are playing about, or their corners are playing about 10 yards off the wideouts.
Not much room there. Tried to option left. It was Hoover moves back in the ball game. Not have much of a lane to run in there.
No gain for Hoover on the play. 2nd and 10 from the 30 now. 7:10 left to go in the first half. And DeGiorgio, after a long snap count, looks over the middle and a little bit behind. 6:47 left to go in the first half. Ike on top of the Titans, 14-6. So here we go, 3rd and 15 for Eisenhower. DeGiorgio drops back under pressure. Snaski providing the pressure. He completes it over there to Hartman, and a first down for the Eagles.
Wow, very good, well executed under really good pressure. I have to compliment the defense. Read it well, and they sent Naski a little inside linebacker blitz there, and Joe DeGiorgio kept his head about him when all else were losing theirs. Delivered a bullet.
Well, Eisenhower now down to the 15-yard line of the Titans. 1st and 10.
It's an extremely big series here. If they stop, if the Titans stop the Eagles on this drive, that would be a big momentum change.
And they give this to Hoover, and he cuts it back up the middle, and he's going to get about 5 yards before he's brought down by 80% of the Titan team.
I think somebody stuck their leg in there, so that would be roughly 83%, wouldn't it? They're really focused on math tonight, aren't you? Good cutback. As you can see, the speed allows him to, he is heading outside. Did not think he was going to hit the corner, and cut back and got a really good gain on first down.
There was no math in the application process that resulted in me getting this job, thankfully.
Oh, we gotta close
and
those
they
gaps.
give us to DeGiorgio, the eldest DeGiorgio, John. And he's close to a first down over there.
Third down. That brings up, certainly you're going to probably run the ball here.
And just undercut there at the last second. And just short of the first down. 3rd and 1 for the Eagles. Big play for the Titan defense. And the quarterback keeper, and we got a flag down. And, we'll see if they can sort this one out. Looked like he had enough for the first down. But sometimes with the quarterback keepers, you get some false starts. People not knowing what the snap count is. We'll see what the call.
I'm not sure exactly. I think there's too many men on the field for Stevenson, frankly, but a little confusing there why there was so much confusion.
And got a first down. Too many men on the field for the Titans, and
it's not a good penalty to take inside your 10.
Eisenhower will gladly accept the first down, creating a first and goal. Should be a half the distance to the goal line. First and goal at about the 2 or 3 now.
And still quite a bit of confusion in Stevenson's defense and what they want to, what Coach Lyons and Ness is looking for them to do.
And call it third down.
Yeah, that's a first down. That's a first down,
yeah. And the handoff is to Hoover, who makes it academic as he plunges in from a couple of yards out, and Eisenhower with the big touchdown.
Not going to be denied there with a good running, effective passing on third down. It was a well put together drive by the Eisenhower Eagles.
And Hoover just put both hands on the ball, lowered the head, and plunged straight forward. Grzywalski on now to try and put the Eagles up 21-6. And he does. So 4:26 left to go. Eisenhower now with a 15-point lead. And we take another look at the second touchdown of the day from Chris Hoover.
Keeps shoulders in front of him, over his knees, and a good forward lean. Picks away, doesn't let his legs get chopped under him, and scores in the crowd.
His second touchdown of the day puts the Eagles up 21-6. He had one rushing, now he's got one receiving. Or had one receiving, now he's got one rushing.
Well, that was a very critical drive. Like I said, it was 14. You know, when you're 14-6, you stop somebody, you get the ball back. You got different options left open to you. Now, when you get down 21-6 against an opponent who's having a very good season, it restricts your ability to do all the things you want to do on offense that could be effective.
Well, Stevenson needing very badly to come up with something big on this drive. Huge drive for them, offensively speaking. They would like it to be the last possession of the half, I'm sure, with 4.5 minutes left to go, and need to come away with some type of score, preferably a touchdown if you're a Titan fan. And it'll take them 80 yards to do it. Grzywalski's kick into the end zone again. Titans will start at their own 20.
Well, Stevenson certainly shown throughout the first half that it's always a matter of inches and making one play, because they certainly have hung together with what I consider, and obviously, best team in Macomb County. And with things going one way or another, could be a very, very tight ball game.
And the give is to Geringer, and the Rabbit kind of not allowed to get out of the hat on that one. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage.
Rabbit out of the hat. Let the rabbit out of the hat. All right.
I guess you would qualify as my test audience.
Uh-huh.
Okay, we'll look for another formula.
All right.
Second and 11, loss of 1 for Geringer. Myrie back to pass, and he's got Lalama, and not much doing, if anything, there on that play. And it should be probably a loss of 1 they're going to call it.
That was a little pass just dumped in the flat, but they're just Eisenhower's pursuit is strong and fast, and not going to be too much. You're going to get up a sideline on them with that play.
The good news for Lalama, he's caught 2 passes so far this game. The bad news is they've gone for a total of -1 yard. So 3rd and 12 now for the Titans. A huge 3rd down play for Stevenson at this juncture in the game. And Myuri back to pass. He's got a little time. And now under some pressure, and he escapes, but not too far. He's brought down there.
Hassan Hamoud, I think, was the turned in pursuit and stayed behind the quarterback.
Myuri picks up 3.
You see, he's got decent time initially, but he just doesn't find a receiver. At this point, he has a little pressure breaking down the middle, takes it outside.
And then number 77 hauls him down. Carl Gooding.
Oh, well, you can pick your 77s because we have Carl Gooding or Hassan Hamoud.
Maybe they share a jersey.
Well, they can change the name fast. I suppose that's good.
4th down and 10 now for the Titans. And with 2:25 left to go, you just want to be careful if you're Stevenson. You like to get this kickoff. You don't want to give Eisenhower another chance to get another score here and really get the ball rolling downhill going in the halftime.
No, 21-6. So you have to say that they played a decent half against a team with talent and speed. But you give up something cheap here, or let them have the ball and run it down, and you throw it real fast before the half, and you know, I mean, your kids are just going to lose all spirit and momentum that they had.
And Wilson back to try it again. And it's a high and short punt. And it goes out of bounds, and that's going to be right around midfield. I'm going to say it's in Eisenhower territory barely, the 49-yard line. So with 2:18 left to go, Eisenhower now with the chance to get some more points on the board. They're almost in Grzywalski's range right now. Not too far away. He does have a 50-yarder this year. Probably need about 20 yards or so to get into his range.
20 good yards, yeah. That's certainly, if you kicked a 50-yarder, it gives you a real threat. He crosses midfield, but he needs a good 20 yards to safely do that.
And the give is to Hoover, who breaks some tackles, keeps the legs pumping, and he picks up about 9.
Yeah, they got half about what I thought he needed to get in field goal range. We're under 2 minutes, so. But with the explosiveness of Eisenhower, certainly they can keep the ball on the ground and still have a threat to go to the end zone all the way.
Ball the 41-yard line now of the Titans. And the handoff is to DeGiorgio. He gets around the corner, turns it upfield, and DeGiorgio to the 10-5, stumbles and is brought down. See what they say. Just short of the goal line is John DeGiorgio.
Just marked him out down there after, again, the defender comes over, starts to push him to the sideline. There's not much support there in time. And DeGiorgio turns up the corner, up the sideline.
The flat-out sprint. He beat everyone over to that corner. So with 1.5 minutes left, the hand is to, looks like DeGiorgio again, and this time he's in for the touchdown.
Well, you give it to the kid who got you there in that case, and he certainly was close enough to deserve a shot at the end zone.
And that's a backbreaker if you're the Titans, because you're now looking up at a 27-6 score. Extra point pending. Grzywalski on for the extra point.
Going to turn into point after touchdown practice.
Another good snap. Another good kick for Eisenhower. And they've scored 21 unanswered points now to grab a 28-6 lead with a minute and a half, 1:27 to be exact, left to go here in the second quarter. And that one
Still will not have to.
back in the end zone, nearly puts that one through the uprights, does Grzywalski. It just hooked it to the left a little bit. Titans will start at their 20 again. And after they scored that touchdown, they really haven't had any kind of field position since.
No, they really haven't. They haven't really been able to, again, the critical times that they had to make a play, they lost yardage, and they put themselves in a hole. And really, you can almost play yourself field position-wise right out of the game.
And not sure what happened there. Maybe a fumble on the...
I'm not sure what occurred, actually.
Confusion there.
Well, whatever it was a do-over.
No play.
No.
One of those old wiffle ball plays. Falls up in the gutter. And there goes Geringer along the near sideline, turns the corner and found about 4 or 5 Eagles there waiting for him. Gain of 2 for Geringer. And it's not necessarily running out the clock when you hand it to him. They had a 4th and 10 in their game versus Utica late in that game and handed it to Geringer, and he ended up going, I believe, 60 yards for a touchdown.
Well, he's one person that has the speed to match up here tonight and outrun some defensive backs.
And the give is to Lalama.
What a pop. Ball Fanon.
Destroyed at the line.
5'11", 190 linebacker. Just a real pop. We've got one of those clean shots that, as a linebacker, you just love to see the back just tucking the ball, and there's nobody blocking you.
And that was a crushing hit there. And final seconds of the first half. 3 seconds left to go. Stevenson gets a snap off, and Geringer
Little draw.
gets a few yards, about 5, but that's going to be it for the first half. As Stevenson was within 1 at the end of 1 quarter, but Eisenhower has scored 21 straight here in the second quarter. We go into halftime. It's all Eagles here at Runkle Field as they lead the Titans 28-6. Okay, welcome back everyone. Ready to start the second half, and Stevenson back to receive the kick here. And the first half, the stats pretty much tell it like the scoreboard tells it at 28-6 right now. Eisenhower outgained Stevenson unofficially, 257 to 130. Titans did have the 1 turnover. John DeGiorgio 4 carries for 83 yards to lead Ike. Chris Hoover with 59 yards rushing and a touch, and 1 6-yard touchdown reception. Joe DeGiorgio 6 of 9 for 99 and a pair of touchdowns. For Stevenson, Mike Geringer, 7 for 36 and a touch, and Ryan Myuri, 6 of 7 for 106 yards. And a touchback to start off the second half. And that's been a big part of this game, has been the field position or lack thereof by the Titans. And having Grzywolski as a kicker there is a definite weapon.
Lacks field position, and also field position is another line in the story for me, because in certain critical times, the Titans took themselves into, second and long, third and long situations, and just can't do that against a superior team.
It's 1st and 10 for Stevenson. And the give is to Batorik. Correction, Geringer. For little, if any, gain. As we said, Geringer, 7 carries for 36 yards. Most of those coming on the 20-yard touchdown run he had in the first quarter.
Stacked up right there inside. There was no movement up front. And the Eisenhower D-line stuffed him in the hole.
2nd and 10 for the Titans. And you're right, they have not had much success on first down in this game. Myuri completes it over on the far side. And a gain of about 5 to Mike Christensen.
Second and third down plays have been a little more successful for the Titans. However, when you're coming out of the hole, good cut block there. We saw a good highlight of. Good job, guys.
2nd and 5 for Stevenson. Myuri, not a bad first half. Take away that one fumble he had down on the goal line, which hurt. Although when they got the ball back, they did score. He only missed on one pass, and did a good job of avoiding the pressure for the most part.
Good controlled game for him.
Myuri back to pass again over the middle and behind his receiver, and he was able to get a couple hands on it, but Fromm was unable to reel it in. Would have been a good catch had he been able to make it. And there it is, just a little behind him. And he tried to put the brakes on it, but that natural grass, I should say, gave a little too much for him. Titans will now be forced to punt. They're unable to do anything with their first drive of the quarter. It's a little nubber that's going to make it out of bounds just past the 50-yard line.
9-iron shot there.
So Eisenhower going to start with excellent field position once again. They've been working on a short field pretty much the entire game.
Yeah, they haven't played anything deep coming out, but when they, I guess when you score and move the ball as they do with 257 yards in the first half, it's clear they could have added to the stat total as well as the point total, I think, had they had worse field position.
And they start on the Titan side of the 50-yard line. And back to passes to Giorgio. And a nice move on the ball over there by Russo. And it's incomplete.
Yeah, he just had to get rid of the ball a little earlier than he wanted to.
Ball didn't have much of a chance to be completed over there, as it was going to be about a yard or two short of the intended target. And had it been a little higher up, Russo had made a good break on the ball and had a shot to come up with the pick.
Well, the Titans have consistently kept pressure on. I will give them credit for that. D-line has been working hard.
From the shotgun, DeGiorgio hands it off. Nope, he keeps it himself, and number 46 hangs with him.
Great play.
As Katulski tracks him down. He was not fooled.
Not at all. That was well designed, though. You know, they have done that several times out of the shotgun, and the inside handoff, and it effectively becomes just a deep sweep. And in that case, the quarterback kept the ball, faked the handoff, and hand us for a moment.
Well, one of Bai's keys to the game, he thought early on, was their ability to not let DeGiorgio scramble a whole lot. 6 carries, 18 yards. I'm sure he'd take that. Just,
I think he would
too
consider
many
that
weapons.
successful. That's right.
Over the middle and incomplete, and a flag is down in the secondary. And that's in the area of maybe defensive holding. I didn't really see anything going on back there, and Russo completing his case.
Well, let's let them call it first and see what they discuss it.
Maybe they'll say not a catchable ball. You can read the.
He is picking the flag up. Good job, officials.
That'll bring up a 4th and 9 for Eisenhower. And on Friday the 13th, for the first time in the second half, we see Jason on the field. Jason Kropp, the punter.
Yes, he has not had a lot of work in the first half.
That's right. The son of one of the Sterling Heights fire inspectors.
He'd like to see his son on television, so this is his opportunity.
Got a chance to get a good punt off here and pin the Titans back in their own zone.
In fact, I think we're putting a little extra airtime out here because we haven't punted yet tonight, to make the most of it. Actually, tough position to kick from. He'll be stepping into the ball just beyond his 40, 45, so.
Take a good kick to get it down there. But if you get too much leg into it, it's a touchback. It's going to be tough for his team to run under it. Back to receive for the Titans is Russo, the 6-foot senior. Kropp with a high hanging punt. Nice punt by Kropp. It hits at the 5-yard line or so and goes into the end zone.
This is what we were talking about. He's got to try to. It's a tough spot actually to kick from. If you get a good kick away, there's a good chance it's going to go in the end zone. You try to cough and corner it or dump it in there someplace, and sometimes you shank the ball badly and you don't gain anything.
So the Titans, what do you know? They'll start over at their 20-yard line. And I don't have the stats on how many times in a row they've done that, but it's been every drive since the touchdown.
Well, I have not had demonstrated the offense to go all the way.
Myeri under pressure, gets loose and gets it to Lalama. And Lalama picks up some good yardage. He'll be close to the first down. A good play by Myeri as he had a couple Eagles bearing down on him there and able to dump it off to the fullback. Lama's 3rd catch of the day, his first one to go for positive yards. 2nd and 1, and the handoff is to Tom Batorik, who gets drilled, but after he picks up the first down. Gain of 12 for Batorik, his first carry of the game. Titans' other fullback, who's had a pretty good year.
Strong runner, and he's got some speed, Tom Batorik, a junior.
Nice little spin move there. And 27 came in, and Hoover just unloaded on him. Yeah, Myeri back to pass again. He goes to the backs, and that one read well as DeGiorgio had drawn a bead on that one. And the Titans maybe a little fortunate that one was not completed.
Yeah, that would have been another one of those 1 yard less than.
You look, DeGiorgio was streaking in there, and
Yeah, he read that and had the back coming out all the way. Better to have dropped that.
2nd and 10 for Stevenson. 8:14 left to go in the third. Myeri back to pass and crunched by 3 Eagles back there.
Just another jailbreak there. Coming off the corners, the linebackers blitzed. Myeri did not have a chance.
Had a kind of a tight formation up there that time, and Eagles just ran around the edges of it. Their speed just beat everyone to the corners.
Well, the formation didn't spread anybody out. They didn't have anything to worry about. And once they crowd in like that, then you can just tee off from the corner.
DeGiorgio and Shane Crotty, amongst others, in there. 3rd and long now for Stevenson. It's 3rd and 16. As they're at their own 35-yard line. They've got to get just over midfield to about the Eisenhower 48 to pick up the first down. And they got 3 wideouts out there. Christensen goes in motion. And Myeri drops back to pass. He throws it over here to Christensen. And Christensen eludes a couple tacklers and gets some yardage there. We got a flag on the play. Could be in the area of holding. Didn't see possibly a face mask on the Eagles too. We'll wait and see which way it goes.
Yeah, wait and see what happened there. There was certainly possibilities for holding on that kind of play. Man in motion tries to crosses the formation. Hope that he's not picked up. You dump the ball to him and try to get him some wiggle room.
They call a clip against Stevenson. Didn't really see it. We'll see if we can pick it up on the replay. Yep, right there, I guess they're going to say.
Yeah.
Well, good job by Christensen, though. Took a hit head on there from someone about twice his size and somehow regained consciousness, realized he was still on his feet, and proceeded forward. Good punt that time by the Titans, and Wilson lets it go out of bounds. Josh Morenzov with a nice kick for Stevenson, and Eisenhower going to start with their worst field position in quite a while.
Yeah, it still puts it just inside the 30, so that's all relative. Well, Stevenson didn't get anything done on offense that time. The positive yardage play is quickly negated by a big sack. And then again, you're facing an opponent who's up 28-6. Get you on 2nd, 3rd and long. What's going to happen? It's going to be you're in tee off time.
.6:33 left to go. Eagles back in business. And the handoff is to DeGiorgio. And he gets a couple yards before Stevenson bottles him up.
Good acceleration. Hit the line of scrimmage hard like a running back / linebacker would.
And we talked a little bit about Eisenhower's theory of playing their stars both ways a lot. But one thing I've noticed in watching them, they're so explosive this year that no one really has to carry the ball on their shoulders that much. As you see DeGiorgio getting stood up. Only about maybe 10 carries a game is kind of a lot for either one of their backs.
That's true. It really does balance the workload, and no kid is playing extremely tired in this kind of year.
And there's Tynan with the catch, and he's popped out of bounds.
Underscores your
first down.
Underscores your point that many people are handling the football. So even though they are going both ways, I'm not saying they're taking a break if they're not handling the football, but less taxing this way.
And in opposition to last year's team, where at least on this field in the playoff game, I think DeGiorgio carried the ball something like 31 times. And when you're doing that, plus playing middle linebacker, that's apt to wear you out. First and 10 for the Eagles. Joe DiGiorgio over the middle, somehow completes it to Hartman.
Excellent strike thrown in there. There is a flag on the play, but there's an excellent strike there to Jeff Hartman. Good target, but ball is put in there like an arrow.
Mike Amormino, as it's a hold, and it'll go for naught for Eisenhower, but Mike Amormino looked like he had a play on the ball, and it just was thrown a little harder than he thought. We'll take another look at it. You'll see number 9 for Stevenson come right in there, and he kind of ducked underneath it, put his head down and the hands up.
Well, one hand up. He's playing with a soft cast on the other hand.
So Eisenhower, a rare penalty this game. They've played a pretty clean game, too.
It's really been a very good exhibition of football. There's really been few penalties, as you said.
Oh, first and 20 now from their own 32 are the Eagles. And the give is to Hoover, who breaks a couple tackles, and not much there for Chris Hoover on that carry.
You know what I like about him is he keeps his legs moving. A lot of fast guys aren't tough runners. You know what I mean? They're sprinters, and by their nature, they can kind of lose their balance faster. And good football player combination like this with speed and strength and agility keeps their feet up under them. Good running position all the time.
Second and 18 for the Eagles now. DiGiorgio hands off to his brother John, who goes around the corner again, leaps over a tackler, or a would-be tackler. He's across the 40, and another flag coming in. Came in pretty late there. We'll see what the call is.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that to see what the signal is.
And the Stevenson defense signaling that it's against Eisenhower, and said they were playing very cleanly, and pretty much just jinxed them.
Oh, yeah. It's a
Clipping against the Eagles. Should bring about a second and forever up.
little block must happen out near the ball carrier as far as I can see.
DiGiorgio, nice athletic play just to leap over the would-be defender there. But it goes for naught again.
Well, even if you're having an excellent game like the Eagles are having, Coach Lancey is not going to be pleased that he takes, penalties at times like this, because that's not something you want to get ready for the playoffs by making mistakes.
Second and 27 now, back at the 25-yard line, I believe. And DiGiorgio rolls out, evading the blitz, throws, and that probably hit the ground first.
High probability.
Looked like it skipped in there.
It was a very, Joe DiGiorgio was very good at avoiding the rush on that. His foot speed helped him tremendously.
He's been under heat most of the game, but Stevenson has not really been able to bring him down. They've held him in check from scrambling, but they're, I think, working more on containment than going for the big gamble in the backfield.
In this case, obviously, the pressure forces him out. He delivers a good football on the run, but just a little short.
Third and 27 now for Eisenhower. And that's going to be a false start over there. Looked like number 75. Jacob Rush.
Rush.
In a hurry.
Yes. It's a hurry to rush upfield.
Yeah, bring up a third and 32.
Mm-hmm.
So Eisenhower is throwing it in reverse here in the third quarter. When you're up 28-6, you can afford to make this type of mistakes at this juncture anyway.
Well, you don't want to, you don't want to, again, create any bad habits, but you're right. In fact, with this fast striking offense, it's averaged, I think you were saying earlier, somewhere around 41 points. You can score from anywhere on the field. You just don't want to keep testing that.
Yeah, the third and 32 play is not one you want to run off very often. DiGiorgio, and he may have get the 30. Well, so much for the third and 32 play. It looks like it works for at least a first down.
Well, as I was saying, with this offense, you can almost anywhere on the field you can move the football. And Coach Bai's desire to contain the quarterback did break down here.
And you watch him.
Shotgun snap. Pretty much looking run all the way. It was just breaks the contain over here. And got the sideline.
It's 58 yards on the run for Joe DiGiorgio, and that will definitely help the average. A little stiff arm at the end there. Thought he might have a chance at outrunning Christensen, and he just kept the head forward. But first and 10 at the 22, and DiGiorgio hit as he throws, and they're going to say the arm was going forward. And that's a close play. The arm definitely went forward. It's a question now, was the ball still in there when it began to start?
When it started its journey. That's right. Well, we get a good shot due to
courtesy
SHTV's
Joe Sturz, good camera work down there. And unfortunately, Carlos Gray taking a page from Kevin Lozon, jumping up in the way of the shot. Kind of hard to tell from that angle.
Makes a better wall than a window.
Better door than window, as I heard many times growing up from my father, standing in front of the television. 3:41 left to go now. 2nd and 10 for the Eagles. They may have dodged a little bit of a bullet there. DiGiorgio back to pass. He hits his brother John, and John DiGiorgio going to be close to a first down. Probably picked up about 8 on the play.
There's another hanky on the turf, and it's probably going to be holding.
He talked a little bit about Eisenhower working with the short field, maybe hurting the stats in the first half. They're trying to overcompensate for it here in the second half by 2nd and 25 now for the Eagles. Ball at the Titan 41. Titans coming hard on the blitz, and the pass to Thurman falls to the ground. And well defended by the Titans on that play. Russo had good position, and DiGiorgio not much time to set and throw.
No time, still got the ball away, and it had a chance. So that's a combination arm and attitude.
We know there's a lot of players on the Titan football team. That shot right there, the cheerleaders show there's a small army of cheerleaders on the sideline as well. 3rd and 25 now for the Eagles.
They need a couple of them before the night is out.
Titans showing blitz again. They're coming again. And he unloads over the middle and incomplete. Intended for Hartman, but luckily for Eagley speaking, I guess you'd say that wasn't intercepted. That was a dangerous pass.
Eagley speaking. Okay.
So you talk your way into a corner and must attempt to
work your way out.
Waltz your way out, I guess.
From the offense point of view.
And Kropp in there to punt again. And Kropp gets it away. Calling for the fair catch. And that should be a penalty, and it is. As Eisenhower mistakenly thought that the Titan back there was trying to catch him and not the ball, and tried to nestle his way into his arms, I guess.
Yeah, he didn't quite have the opportunity to make that catch.
You watch Russo back here. Call for fair catch, and hello. That's not legal. So 3:02 left to go in the 3rd quarter, and the 3rd quarter that's been taking a while. It's slowed down a lot of penalties here, especially on Eisenhower. Maybe lost a little focus here in the 3rd. Lancey try and gather the troops back together to start doing things the right way here for the final 15 minutes or so of the game.
High school football has got to just contain a lot of emotion, and there's no real peak to motion. You can see that you see it start manifesting itself in penalties and some poor judgments as much as anything.
And Eisenhower or Stevenson going to make him re-kick. And I'm sure Coach Lancey will try and get his team refocused on the sidelines. We did talk about the win total between both these coaches, both of them achieving win number 200 this year. Lancey is sitting on 202, and Rick By's sitting on number 200. A lot of wins between both these two programs and these two coaches over the years.
Yeah, and actually very successful. One took about 30 years, I think, to get there. The other 25 years. So they kept it a pace. You have to deliver a winning pace to get 200 that fast.
So 4th and 46 for Eisenhower. And the play in the playbook for this is the flat-out punt. Crop back there. And he unloads a pretty good punt. And Russo comes down with it, tries to evade a couple Eisenhower tacklers, and nothing much on the return.
Chris Hoover, you know, there's certain numbers on this Eisenhower team that you just see around the ball all the time. And there is another flag on the play. Adding a little time to our airtime here.
Yeah,
with the,
exactly. Well, the referee's got to get some airtime too. Like a low block call maybe on Stevenson.
blocking below the waist. On a kick.
And so
Free kick.
Stevenson maybe, well, they accepted that last penalty, and it hurts them in the end. Sometimes
Yeah, they
you
lost.
just can't win.
They lost net yardage in that exchange.
1st and 10 now for the Titans, backed up all the way to their own 6-yard line. I think they can suck it up and put some kind of drive together with 2:50 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Tight formation for Stevenson. And there's Geringer breaking loose, and he's into the secondary, and he gets Stevenson out of trouble at least with a big gain.
And he shoots out of there. He squirts out of there, actually. It is the action, looks like. Lead block. Lalama, good seal inside by number 70.
The good cutback there to leave, looked like Wilson in the dust initially.
Matt Sedek on that side, good block.
They say all good runs, the running back needs to make at least one guy miss, and that was a good run, and he got someone to miss him. And a drop over there by Fromm, and that's the first real drop of the game that Titans have had. Myuri's sitting on 9 of 12 completions, and just didn't look that one in. 2nd and 10 for the Titans.
And that's the one you wish was a do-over. You wouldn't do it again.
And the handoff is to Batorik maybe, or Lalama. Batorik on the carry. Pickup of 5 for Batorik. Batorik, a junior, good-looking player. Stevenson got plenty of young players on their team who will be back next year, and you got to think that the program will be back at this season, an accident and not a trend, so to speak.
Well, another undefeated JV team so far at this point in the season.
And the completion is to Lalama, and he gets out of bounds and picks up a 1st down.
Certainly indicates some talent in the system, and there's talent on the team, obviously.
has been a good receiver out of the backfield today. At least caught everything that has gone his way.
Now, the passing game really hasn't been problematic for Stevenson. It hasn't been the right opportunity in time.
Myeri back to pass and drilled there. Another flag on the field, though. We'll see who this one's going to go against.
It's going to be against Stevenson. Probably illegal use of the hands.
And there you go. Titans backing themselves up into first and long, second and long.
Yeah, that was procedure call, legal motion. In any case, it was declined.
And so Stevenson back at it again, and that pass, it looked like they were trying to set up the screen there, but
yeah, a little center screen, but
quite
thrown into the mass of blue instead of Malama was the intended receiver.
third and 9 for Stevenson.
Rick Bison's in the play with Myeri.
And Stevenson's going to have any prayer coming back in this one. This is a must. They need to convert and keep this drive going. And DeGiorgio, untouched, just had Myeri in his sights, and Myeri never had a chance.
Tight formation with receivers to the right. That backside linebacker has a clear shot for unabated to the quarterback.
And you would think that they would be aware of where DeGiorgio is at all times, and Myeri knows where he's at.
He certainly found him, or he was found by him. He didn't know where he was before the play. He did after.
Stevenson will have to punt. And the snap goes over Merez's head, and he doesn't fall on it. Eisenhower looks like they've fallen on it, and they recover and will be knocking on the door. He rolls into the end zone, but you're down when you hit the ground, so they will take over at the Stevenson.
There's your Friday the 13th event.
4 or 6
for Stevenson. Of all the times, again, playing 28-6 down.
That's here's the horror show right here.
Airmails it. Josh Merenz is no short player.
And then tried to pick it up, hoping that maybe he could still get a punt away, but no chance.
Not to be there.
Eisenhower. Oh, look what we found. We're knocking on the door again. Are the Eagles. And the officials take a timeout.
Well, coming into the game, Stevenson would have had to play error-free and maintain good field position and with aggression and intensity. Some of those elements were and start to contain certain elements of the Eisenhower offense. Some of those things were there and have been there, but execution, taking themselves off the field.
And there goes Hoover into the end zone, untouched. His third touchdown of the game. This one a 3-yard scamper, and it's made it 34-6 here in the third quarter.
And when it all starts sliding downhill, it just keeps going. Been some hard hitting going on, but you just lose the spunk and enthusiasm when plays like that, mistakes are made.
Grzywalski for the extra point. Up and good. And it's looking like it'll be 2 in a row for the Eagles. As you said, they'd kind of come up on the wrong end of this rivalry for a streak of a few years anyway.
7 losses in a row, and changed that last year again with the game that decided the most was the playoff game. Last second dramatic win, and looks like put number 2 up on the board. New decade, maybe they're hoping for a different streak.
We'll see. Eisenhower to kick it off again with Mr. Touchback, Grzywalski. Back to kick, and what do you know? Into the end zone. Stevenson assumes the position at the 20. And no time run off the clock. The third quarter continues here. Recap the scoring. Eisenhower opened up the scoring on a 6-yard run, or a 6-yard pass from Joe DiGiorgio to Chris Hoover. Extra point made it 7-0. Titans answered back on a 20-yard touchdown run by Mike Geringer. They missed the extra point. That made it 7-6. Thurman caught a 14-yard pass to make it 14-6. Hoover with a 3-yard run, 21-6. John DiGiorgio, 1-yard run. 28-6 was the score at the half, and Hoover just made it 35-6 with his 3-yard touchdown run, and a interception there, a sure interception dropped by Hartman.
And we have a flag. I just thought I'd throw that in after every play for a while in the third quarter here.
It's getting where you can close your eyes and say that, and we'd be right more often than not here, at least in the third quarter. Holding against the Titans. And there they go into first and long situation again.
Simple rule of life in football is don't dig yourself a deep hole. Especially when you just don't have the explosiveness to come out of it.
First and 20 now for Stevenson at the 10. Myeri hands it off to Geringer. He's got some running room. Geringer back up past the original line of scrimmage.
Then that goes down as a pass, a little shuttle pass inside, and Geringer runs that pretty effectively. I'm sure that the MAC Red will see that next year.
And that brings to an end the third quarter. As you see, Geringer scrambling there. Unfortunately, it's been Eisenhower doing all the running in this one. At the end of 3, they're on top of the Titans, 35-6. Welcome back, everyone. We're getting ready to start the fourth quarter here. Titans on offense at their own 22, a 2nd and 8. A completion over to Christensen.
Positive yardage on second down. This is good. Negative yardage is bad.
Missed your calling as a coach. But we're fortunate to have you as the analyst here.
Thank you. Thank you. It's that insight that really keeps them on the edge of their seats.
That's right.
Oh, you have
Go ahead.
You have a team that has to battle with getting points and moving the ball. You can't do it from long yardage.
3rd and 3 for the Titans, and Geringer, the second effort there. It's going to be close, and looks like he's got the first down yardage.
I'm really impressed the way the Eisenhower defenders close quickly. Again, team speed is impressive because Geringer has popped a couple of. He's gotten into a running lane fairly quickly and a decent blocking point of attack. And the reason they haven't gone for strong yardage is because Eisenhower's closing speed.
The old saying, you can't teach speed. But you get a coach who can teach, and you have speed, and you got the makings of something special, and that's what Eisenhower's hoping for this year. Trip to the Dome. Myeri back to pass, and he heaves it deep, and it's complete to 45, Naskey. Jim Naskey makes an appearance on offense.
Yeah, he's one of the Titans' better athletes and better football players, and he's been a one-way player most of the time. And here it shows that maybe that's he's been a hidden resource on offense. Myeri does a good job. Heady look downfield. Nice ball thrown into the receiver's hands, tucked away.
And Myrie rolls out and a little flip pass, and
It was a little flip pass, but unfortunately it was flipped into white and light blue shirts by Myeri. At least from his point of view, it was unfortunate. Came up limping, but he's back.
he's shown some toughness to hang in there. He's taken a few licks in the backfield as DeGiorgio's drawn a bead on him and acquired the target, so to speak, a few times. And here comes some more pressure from the backfield and hit as he throws, and he's going to feel that tomorrow.
Eisenhower is sending when there's backside, when it's a tight formation, weighted one way or the other. They bring the backside corner or linebacker, and there's nobody there. This is naked back there. The back is blocking down inside. And you see there's a good shot of Ryan Myeri delivering a ball. That's why those of us when we're much older feel the creaks and groans of this game when you watch it quite that vividly.
3rd and 14 for Stevenson now. And the fumble on the snap, and Myeri unloads, and he gets unloaded upon. And Eisenhower fighting over the interception.
Yeah, they actually, Ike defenders broke it up from completing with each other at that point. Well, Ryan Wood snap went over his head. He decided to make a play downfield best that he could, and then he just didn't get anything on the ball. It could have under that rush.
And Myeri's taken, we'll just say, a little bit of punishment on this drive here as he picks it up.
Good hands recovery, actually.
Yeah, and then as he's taking that step forward, 50 just lays him out again. And he's a tough customer, able to get up from these repeated beatings he's taken back there. 4th and 14 for Stevenson. Myeri back to pass again, under pressure again. Unloads it and
makes the catch.
Makes the catch, does Christensen, but it's going to be short of the first down. And Eisenhower going to take over.
Take over on downs there. Had to make a play, but needed to make a play for the first down. He does throw the ball on the run well there. Thank God for mobility in your quarterbacks. Actually, both teams have mobile quarterbacks, and it's the way with the speed of the athletes today and the more open offenses, and the defense is coming with everything. You just can't you can't have anybody set back there for too long.
There's 9:15 left to go. And 9:29, they had more time on the clock. And the full moon is out. And by the time this game gets over with, we might see the sun up here at Runkle Field. And the handoff is to Hoover, who's still in there. And Hoover gets about 5 or 6.
Chris Hoover is adding some numbers to his stats this year.
And they say it's a pickup of 7 for Hoover. .71 yards picked up by Hoover unofficially on 11 carries. And they give to him again, and he's got the first down. Another first down for the Eagles.
Certainly not to overlook the offensive line of the Eagles tonight. They played well. Anytime you run the ball that much and gain positive yardage, you are doing something well up front. They're kind of overshadowed by the known names in the backs, but that's why running game is a team game. It takes everybody to do it.
Stevenson's come on a lot of blitzes, and Eisenhower done a good job. Minimal plays of negative yardage. And there's the third string running back, Nathan Booth, picking and weaving his way for some good yardage, but that one should be coming back. And it looked like a late hit coming in there from one of the Titans as one of the Eagles hit the deck.
Yeah, that Amermino. Saw that one first.
Little back Eisenhower up. And Booth, you talk about a third stringer, and he's had some pretty good games for a third stringer this year. And we'll see if we can get a look at the clip. And I guess we're going to call it right there. Didn't see what player that was. And it's the end of the play. We'll see if we can see one of the Eagles come into the screen. Oh, maybe not. First and 25 for Eisenhower now. We're talking about Booth as a third stringer. He's broke the 100-yard rushing barrier twice already this year, and that means either you've had some injuries or you've been up by some big totals a few times and got the third stringer some snaps.
Of course, if you've got two, DiGiorgio and Hoover playing both ways, there's another back is going to step in there and have to give them some arrest someplace in the ball game.
And, Booth would be a starter on a large portion of Macomb County teams. Just happens to be he's in the backfield, an overcrowded backfield up at Eisenhower. 6 yards on the last pickup for Booth. 2nd and 19 for the Eagles. DiGiorgio back to pass under pressure, and he gets away from the pressure but fumbles, and it looks like the Titans are going to come up with one. And they do. Jim Naskey comes up with the fumble.
Made the catch earlier as a tight end and plays linebacker on defense.
It looked like they had DiGiorgio dead in the water back there. Somehow he avoids the rush, but then Kutulski put a good hit on the ball to jar it loose, and Naskey recovered. Stevenson catches a break. They take over, and Geringer, not much on the first carry. Second and 10 for the Titans.
Titans have a new quarterback, Gary Kennedy, in the ball game.
Kennedy, a junior, getting a perhaps early look at next year's quarterback, and some punishment laid out over there. It's
that was
head-on collision.
Speed meeting speed there, wouldn't you say? Somebody, there's a little blue streak hitting the line of scrimmage, a light blue streak hitting him. It was ended up in a good football collision.
Gain of 4 for Geringer. Maybe Titan fans getting a look at next year's quarterback, possibly. Getting some game action here. Trying to get some positives out of the end of this game and the tail end of the season. And Myrie actually did a good job out there. Just a little overmatched, that pass short to Lalama.
Well, they played with poise and dignity here tonight. You know, there's been no breakdown as far as attitude or intensity. And Eisenhower is one of the better football teams I have seen in a number of years in this area.
coming into the game. I believe they were ranked number 4 in the state.
Well, the interesting thing about rankings is I will say sure, and I haven't seen any of the other teams play, but I would say they've got to be hanging with the top ones or twos just basically on talent and execution.
And the pass over the middle is incomplete, and we got a flag on the play. Eisenhower probably, logically, seems like they would decline this one if it is in fact against Stevenson, and it is. So Eisenhower goes back on offense.
Well, they didn't capitalize on the turnover, which I think probably is synonymous with the Titans' year. They, when there is a break, they can't do anything with it.
Back to the point you made about Stevenson still showing a lot of class out there, and Coach Bai talked about before the game that despite the losing streak, which appears now to be at 5 games, they have shown a lot of class, and good to see that you know, they continue to be good sports out there. And Eisenhower doing a good job this year too.
Well, I think that's what comments about programs. Yeah.
And not a member of the SHTV staff, but possibly
maybe
interested.
Maybe we can send that one to somebody's mother to show they were working tonight.
That's right. And Eisenhower, I believe, it called a timeout with 5:42 left to go in the 4th quarter.
Well, one thing about good programs is that they win with some class and you lose with some class, because you always, very few programs never lose, do they? So eventually it happens to you, and how you handle that adversity is what determines what kind of football program you have, or any sports program goes in our high schools.
Sometimes you learn more in life after a loss, in terms of the football field or other things, more than you do if everything's going right. Eisenhower back on offense, and Booth gets a couple.
Gonna see some other people playing now. Brad Fetters, the quarterback for the Eisenhower Eagles, a junior. Both coaches getting some people in. Eisenhower obviously polishing up some things, getting some playing time for people for the run to put them at 8-0, looking at completing the regular season next week with a lock on a playoff berth. Stevenson having to take a look at some other people, hoping to get some people that have contributed to the program. Senior is going to be leaving soon after next week.
Well, as the Titans look ahead, they should at least end the season on a good note, as they've got winless Romeo coming in here next week, or their next game, I should say. Well, Eisenhower, it's probably the biggest battle ever at Swinehart, I would say, as they take on Utica, who coming into tonight as of this taping was also 7-0. They both share the same home field, and that's got to be a matchup that folks up there are excited about.
Should be an excellent game. Like you say, they share the field, and in Utica schools and district, and everyone knows each other, all of those good things.
Utica, one of those teams that kind of out of the blue is putting a year together. They got the right collection of kids that have come together, turned around from only 2 wins last year to win their first 7 this year. In their last game, they spotted a team at 25-6 lead up at Port Huron, and they came back and scored 61 points. Brad Leach is quite a player up there. 3 touchdowns rushing, 3 passing for them last game. They got a lot of speed, and it's going to be very interesting to see how they match up against this Eisenhower team.
Yeah, we're not in the business of selling tickets someplace, but I would say that that's going to be an excellent matchup.
And Crop back to punt for the Eagles. And there's a bit of a
kick was
Friday
blocked.
the 13th horror show as Stevenson recovers in the end zone and comes up with a touchdown.
Well, maybe that lack of practice punting this year just came back to hurt the Eagles. The snap was decent, took a little time, but not excessively. I think that here, you look, the Titans came with a punt block, and the 4 people really
He never really had a chance
pushed
to
inside.
get that one off the ground.
Now that was a kick into somebody at that point. Kind of squeezed into the end zone for the touchdown.
And hard to see who came up with the recovery.
Justin Hunwick.
And Hunwick to kick, and the extra point blocked. Oh,
That's hard to comment on because I think 2 or 3 Eisenhower players had virtually walked in to where the ball was being held.
talk about special teams play. Grzywalski almost could get a honorable mention there for putting the Titans at the field position disadvantage most of the game. No field position disadvantage there is number 25 has a nice little return. Or, I'm sorry, number 26 as Patrick Josephak. I believe brother Nick played for Eisenhower last year. Big part of the team that went to the Dome.
2 names that show back up again and with a different first name.
One thing about high school football, you can tell where some of the bloodlines are and
it's a family
who's
game.
got the genes. And Stevenson had the name Huntsinger recently, and they still got one with Devin Huntsinger being a big player on their basketball team. And the name out here tonight is DeGiorgio. 1st and 10 at the 48. The handoff is to Booth. Booth gets about 6 yards, maybe 5, before he's tackled. Pickup of about 4, they're going to say officially.
Well, and even the best of bitter rival series, there's from time to time, one team or the other has a game they control, and this one has been all Eisenhower from kickoff
Till the end. Booth showing good balance and staying on his feet. One thing about all the Eisenhower running backs, you're saying they don't really give up once contact is made. They keep the legs moving. They very good at keeping their balance, as Geringer has been for Stevenson, and not going to get a lot of cheap tackles on those guys. First and 10 again for the Eagles at the 36 now. 1:51 left to go. And the handoff is to number 40, and he's brought down by a host of Titans. Daniel Kuzdal, we believe is the pronunciation.
Brought down by Keith Brennan. And
2nd and 7 for the Eagles. Take a look at it again.
trying to move the end of this game along in production here.
That's right. And see him get to the corner there, and most of the Titans hoping to get some last licks in on those Eisenhower Eagles. Josephak gets a couple. There's now under a minute left to go in this one.
Two teams definitely going in different ways to end their season, but at times they gave us some entertainment tonight in this game. We got to show off some football athletes in their finest speed balance.
Yeah, Eisenhower been very impressive in this game. It mirrors the game a couple years ago when Stevenson kind of did this in reverse to Eisenhower on this very field. And Eisenhower paying him back right now. That's the final play of the game. As the last seconds tick off, and it's a happy final seconds for the Eisenhower Eagles as they pretty much have their way in this one. The 35-12 win. As always, thanks for joining me here.
It's always a pleasure and great work by the Sterling Heights television crew and you too.
Well, thank you very much. We'll take a break right now, and we'll come back and see a couple players who did some great work out here, and John DeGiorgio and Chris Hoover. We'll be back in a moment. Here now with our co-players of the game, John DeGiorgio and Chris Hoover. And Chris, we'll start out with you. A couple years ago on this field, you guys were on the other end of one of these scores. How nice does it feel to come back and beat the Titans like this?
Feels really good. Can't really describe it. Happy for everybody on the team.
Okay, now we'll go to another guy who's always around the ball, whether it be on offense or defense. Talk about the Tony guys were able to set tonight. Seems like you had a lot of free shots at their quarterback, and that set the tone that way.
Yeah, our defensive coordinator, Coach Smith, he studied them real good, and we said we were going to run a lot of weak fires. I was going to come from the outside and contain the quarterback. That's what we had to do to stop him, and I think we did a good job.
Now you guys are kind of tuning up for the state playoff run, and I know you guys made it all the way to the Dome last year. What's the differences this year compared to last year as far as how do you think your chances are?
I think our chances are pretty good. We're not just going to the Dome to play, we're just going to win.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you too, Chris. And I want to congratulate both John DeGiorgio and Chris Hoover on being our co-players of the game. Well, that'll wrap it up for this week's Game of the Week. For Steve Duchesne, I'm Anthony Polidano, thanking our director, Matt Phillips, and the rest of our great crew. Thanks for watching this week's Game of the Week. We'll see you next time.